Tony Harvin Network. I greet everybody upon this evening. This is another video of Let's Talk About It. Good evening to everybody out there. Y'all know my disclaimer. I'm not a pastor, preacher. I don't hold any type of office in the church. So please do not lay claims of those titles on me. Excuse me, we're not here to violate any type of community guidelines, any type of copyright infringement, or any type of privacy guidelines at all. Shout out to everybody who's going to join us live now, in the middle, and those who want to check it out when it uploads to YouTube. We're back with another interesting topic, interesting conversation for the most part. Definitely appreciate those people out there who's been checking out the videos, coming on the lives, and things like that. We're definitely going to keep it moving as far as like pushing out more videos and stuff like that on this channel. We know it's a lot of work when you're doing the social media for the most part. So I just ask everybody to please be patient. Now we're going to be talking about these wicked pastors. Why there's so many wicked pastors out here? Let me know what your thoughts on that for. Why are there so many wicked pastors? And there's a lot of wicked pastors, especially in these days for sure. What's up to N Maxwell? Shout out to you. What's up to Sandra Brown? Shout out to you. Hope all is well. What's up to Linda? You says good day to all. For sure. Appreciate that. Right back at you. Good day. What's up to Mario Minda? That's how you pronounce it? I'm just going to call you Mario M. Mario M. Shout out to you. Hope all is well. What's up to Wesley? Shout out to you. You said Tony Harvin, make sure you play this. For sure. Play it. I'm definitely going to talk about it. Linda says they acting like thugs. Yeah, some of them are. Some of them are for sure. What's up to Tanya Bond? Shout out to you. What's up to Jen Juice? Shout out to you. We're here to talk about wicked pastors. Wicked. It's a lot out here. There's a whole lot. What's up to Solid Ground? Shout out to you. Hope all is well. And you said greetings at Wesley. Definitely appreciate that. For sure, time and time again, we hear about these wicked devils out here. And I'm not here coming off as a pastor at all. Appreciate that, Sandra Brown. Thank you for the support of this YouTube channel. God bless you and your family. Wesley says, wicked pastors are crazy. You're right about that. They're stepping in the pulpit. They're so-called preach the word of the Lord, but yet they have wicked agendas. It's not, I don't think it's just narrowed down to, them committing crimes and stuff like that. It's other things that can classify, a person as being wicked in the pulpit for surety. Mario said, just say Mario like Super Mario, the video game, for sure. Mario, I'll call you that, not a problem. What's up to WT Media? Shout out to you. Hope all is well in general. So as I was stating about, wicked pastors, and we definitely see a lot of them in these days. Some of us been under some wicked pastors before we came to, in holiness and things like that. Wesley says wickedness is a crime. You said wickedness is a crime. And Maxwell says, God have his pastors, as we know the devil have his also. Absolutely, for sure. What's up to Indoor? Indoor Hardness as a good soldier. You says peace and blessings, family. God bless you. God bless you too. Appreciate that. Thank you for coming on here, man, supporting, joining the conversation for the most part, on this Saturday evening. Sandra Brown says they're hungry. A lot of them are money hungry. As we had the conversation, I believe it was like last week, when we was talking of should pastors be paid for preaching. We had some individuals on here who stated that, that they should receive a salary, things of that nature. Mario says, these wicked pastors are multiplying like crazy. Every church around here in LA are infested with them. LA, New York City, New Jersey, Michigan, Montana, Texas, Mississippi, Georgia, Alabama, Florida, North Carolina, South Carolina, Virginia, West Virginia, Maryland, D.C., Vermont, New Hampshire, Connecticut, Rhode Island. You can keep it going. Indiana. You know what I mean? What else is out there? Washington, North Dakota, South Dakota. What's up to Tyree Lewis? Shout out to you. Wesley says the world. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah, absolutely. And one factor, as I mentioned, money hungry. They love money. You know, we tend to do the stories upon, you know, when these so-called preachers, they touch on kids. That's another wickedness that a lot of them commit. Endor says, I believe these pastors have been wicked. At one point, you says, when we are under these wicked men, we thought it was normal. Now that we know the truth, we can see these devils were leading us to hell. I agree with you. And a so-called preacher can be wicked by preaching false doctrine. You understand? A preacher could be wicked by so-called preaching the word, but have a wicked lifestyle. You know what I mean? All right. Wesley says, you name it. All right. Sandra Brown, you said they're not trying to help save souls, like Gino's doing, and I thank God for him. You wrote. What's up to Brother Jonah? Shout out to you. Hope all is well. And Brother Jonah, thank you for, you know, joining this conversation. And excuse me, Linda says begging and lying to the people. Begging, manipulating the people for money, stealing from the people, stealing from the church. Stealing from the church. You know, there's some wicked preachers who are Skittles. They Skittles and they got the first man in the church. That's wickedness. You know what I mean? That's another format of wickedness. They got the first man. What is that cat name? Keith McQueen or something like that. It's some more of those wicked devils out there who are married to another M. You know what I mean? And they try to use the word of the Lord to justify that. You know what I mean? So if them fellas or those people who are in that congregation are sitting under skittle preachers who got the first man, or some false woman preacher out there. I think this lady was married to another woman out there in East Orange, New Jersey. I believe I did a story on that, probably like 2018. Two so-called women preachers, they got married. You know what I mean? And they try to justify their marriage with the word of the Lord. You know what I mean? Endor says, I believe, I think I read that one, excuse me. Let's go scroll down. Cell Express, what up? He says, greetings to all. And Tony Harvin, hope all is well with you and your family. Beware of many pastors, for sure. Anita says, greetings, Tony. They preach what they want the people to hear. A lot of them don't even know the scriptures, and they tell them what they want them to hear. They get paid. What's up to Elaine Small? Mario says, he says, oh, but they all say they are called, and when you point them to Bible, they throw in the butt. Wesley says, we got that going on right in the truth of God. What you referring to? What's up to Miss Joy? You said these pastors want to be rappers and R&B singers. Rappers. They want to be on Smack DVD in the battle rap. You understand? They want to do drill rap like Kurt Franklin up there. You know, pop locking and twerking and stuff like that. Kurt Franklin. You know what I mean? That he on his D'Angelo. You understand? He on the stage, you know, performing and stuff like that. Like he R. Kelly or somebody like that. Like he Aaron Hall or Usher. He don't conduct themselves in a manner of being, a holiness type of preacher. He's in with that type of stuff. You know, you're right. A lot of them want to be rappers. They want to fit in with that type of club. They want to be next to the Jay-Z's. They want to be next to those type of people. You know? All right? Jonas says, just shameful. And Maxwell says, it's like these pastors want to go to hell. What's up to E. Wooten? G. Swole says, greetings. I think there's a lot of wicked pastors because times is getting hard for them to get money from their members when people are waking up their false claims. Michael says, what up, man? Wesley says, we had wicked elders in the truth of God, and the apostle warned us. Even Satan comes in the house of the Lord, posing as ministers, some in auxiliary. You're right. Auxiliary. I mean, you're right about that. You know, whether they stealing, whether they from Flower Town. You know, some people got Skittles lifestyle. Doesn't matter what church it is. You know, they try to present themselves to be holy. But behind the scenes, they live in that lifestyle of skittling. Now, granted that people may have struggles and stuff like that, but they don't care. Once they done so-called praising and worshiping and doing all this other stuff, like you said, some in auxiliary. You know what I'm saying? I don't hold no punches for nobody. I don't care who you is. You know what I mean? Nobody's exempt. Nobody. Not even me. You understand? Not even me. At all. You know? So if somebody, well, I'm not in no type of church auxiliary at all, but that's still not an excuse. But if a person is in an auxiliary in the church, and you out there doing drugs, cocaine, and smoking weed all day, and you in a Skittles lifestyle, you know what I mean? You in that type of stuff. But you portraying yourself to be in holiness. That's your fault. That's your fault. You know what I mean? That's yours. That is your fault. You understand? That's crazy. If you are so-called in the auxiliary and you in a lifestyle like that, you don't need to be there. I don't care who you is. You know what I mean? I don't care who you is at all. You know what I mean? Get out that. Listen. Pray for deliverance, right? From that lifestyle. But some people like to have one foot in, one foot out. They don't care. You know what I mean? But like you said at Wesley, and the auxiliary, you know? All right, what's up to Kiki? Shout out to you. Hope all is well. Jonas says, a fraternity pastor, I cannot take you serious. Endor says, most of these men and women are in the business of church only profit. You says they don't mind switching up the scriptures to get paid. You says, would you say it's just a bunch of unbelievers praising themselves? Well, you know, some people could have started off, you know, fairly good, but then go off course. You know, some of them start off fairly good. Some so-called preachers, they start off good in the beginning, but they fall off. You know, the money, the fame, you know, the wanting of power and stuff like that can mess a person up. You know, something about that fame and money that people, they want. It's a drug, I'd say. All right? Endor says nobody is exempt. You're right. Even some, listen, even people on here. You know what I mean? That's why I say a lot of times, clean your social media up. Clean it up. You know? Clean it up. You understand? All right. Miss Joyce says, I don't think some of these pastors believe in God. They would be afraid. I guess you meant, you said they would. I guess you meant they wouldn't be afraid to play church. You says it's dangerous. Michael said drugs is filthy. I guess you meant that. Mario says, and they emphasize on tithing. I was under one of those who finally admitted that he lived off of tithing. He makes his wife work, but not him, because he needs to run the church. Wow. Lazy bum. Now that's a lazy bum right there. G. Swole says, I even believe a person that's close to me is trying to get money out of me by lying when I'm still not buying him being a pastor. Indoor says 1 foot in heaven, 1 foot out of hell. Wesley says the apostle commanded us to pray for them and not be judgmental. Well, you got to understand the scripture says judge righteously. You know what I mean? It says judge righteously. I think I got that sermon. Let me see if I got it. Yep. It says judging people falsely. And it's also one where he's talking about, judging righteously. You know what I'm saying? So a lot of people may be quick to jump off the hinges, like, they're quick to be judgmental. Now, I'm not saying go around just looking at people and judging them. No, not at all. But if you see somebody is stealing, if you see somebody who is a skilled pastor, and you're like, that's not right. Well, the scripture says this. You know what I mean? You analyzing it, right? You want to make sure you got the facts to judge that righteously. Not that you're going around judging people. You know what I mean? That's where the problem lies, when people go around and they see this person outside or just in general. I'm going to judge Ben. I'm going to judge Sarah. I'm going to judge this person. No, you're not in church for that. You know what I mean? So a lot of people focus on being judgmental at the end of the day. You know what I mean? But if it's clear cut in your face and you got the facts together, that's a righteous judge. You understand? I'm not preaching on anything. It's just basic common sense. So I got that, heard that. It's titled Judging People Falsely. And let me see. And then he got one called Judge Yourself. And I think it's a righteous judge I got too, that he preached on. What's up to Dolores? Shout out to you. Hope all is well. What's up to Mahani? Shout out to you. Hope all is well. Jonah says clean that social media up. For sure. For sure. And don't put nothing on social media that, false prophets can use. You understand? And don't do those things just because you ain't recording or it's not being recorded. Don't do it, period. You understand? Because if a false prophet come across something on the internet that's recent, they're going to use that material. And guess who they're going to look at? They're going to look at, your pastor. They're going to look at the pastor. Or they're going to think, wow, this pastor allows this type of stuff, whereas though a lot more the members may be doing it. You know what I mean? So you don't want to bring reproach on the church. I think, Gino talked about that too. You understand? What happens if I come on here and smoke a joint? I never smoked a day in my life at all. You know what I mean? I talk against cigarette smoking or weed. So what happens, hypothetically speaking, I come on here smoking. You know how many false prophets would screen record that? They'll blame the whole church. You understand? They say Gino allow that. Now they doing it. Listen, I've seen saints on the internet doing some stuff. I've seen it. You know what I mean? I've seen it. Be careful. Because I ain't going to take up for you. I don't care who you are. You know what I mean? You on the internet listening to whatever, hanging out, partying and stuff like that and dancing. And you got these false prophets putting up videos of you. I got nothing to do with that. That's your behavior, not mine. I don't take up for garbage like that at all. You understand? For sure. All right? What's up to David B? Shout out to you. Hope all is well. What's up to Timothy L? Shout out to you. T. Scrogan says, greetings, Tony. And these pastors should be ashamed of themselves trying to lead people and can't govern themselves. Good point. Appreciate that at E. Wooten. Miss Joy says, some people try to teach when they need to learn. I've heard some strange teachings this week. Wow. What's up to Kurt Ellis? Shout out to you. Hope all is well. You said judge righteous judgment. Indoor says, wow, he live off the church and his wife is working? Question mark. He says, what in the Church of Christ is going on? Yeah, that sounds like the Church of Christ because that's what they do. They try to, justify that when we had that conversation. Timothy Hale says, a lot of wicked pastors out here. Appreciate that, Brother Jonah. Appreciate that, Tanya Bond. What's up to Helena Russell? A. Wooten says God gave them a chance to change, but now he's pulling down the curtains around them and showing their true colors of evilness. Jonas says, got to be on things scripturally, but to be suspicious and unloving is not endeavoring to keep the unity of the Spirit in the bond of peace. Wonderful. All right, Kurt Ellis wrote John 7:24. Indoor says, and I think Apostle also when making righteous judgment, you yourself can be speaking against a sin in your participating yourself. You put hypocrite for sure. For sure. Miss Joyce says, who's the worst pastor you have ever heard of? I think Kenneth Copeland and Creflo Dollar. Jim Jones. Jim Jones. We ain't talking about the rapper. Ballin'. We ain't talking about Jim Jones, the rapper. We talking about Jim Jones back in the day. You understand? Jonestown. He fooled the people, poisoned the people. He raped the people, raped kids, great wives and great the husbands, and then poisoned them. So I'd say Jim Jones, somebody like him. A lot of those African pastors too over there. The stupid stuff that they do. Telling the women, "Oh, give me your underwear so I can sniff them. It's holy." You understand? Or some term I think it was like male DNA or something like that. I don't want to get too explicit. It's holy. You know what I mean? They do stupid stuff over there. And the people fall for it. But for the most part, the number one worst pastor in my book is Jim Jones. You know what I mean? Listen, that was just crazy. You could go on YouTube and you could see the actual bodies that's just laying there in Jonestown of what he had done to the people. And a lot of them fell for it. There's some survivors that's still living to this day. And hopefully, Lord willing, we can get a chance to interview one of them one day. That was one of my ideas that I had. I don't really like to throw too many of my ideas out there. I wanted to interview somebody who was a survivor from Jonestown. Remember I said that. You know what I mean? Remember I said that. So hopefully we can do that one day. Interview one of those people who survived Jonestown. All right, what's up to Adrian Hines? What's up to Paulette? Shout out to you. Oh, he says, I meant alive today, but I agree Jim Jones was crazy. Alive today? That's a good question. Man, I'm trying to think. I would say Keith McQueen. Keith McQueen. He tried to justify that there was Skittles activity in the scriptures. He tried to justify that. When I heard that, I said, this man is super. And he had people in his congregation. People who actually sit underneath him and believe that trash. You know what I mean? I'd say Keith McQueen. What's up, the brother in holiness? Shout out to you. Hope all is well. He said, how long to paint the beard? I appreciate the compliment, but I've been cutting hair for 20... How long have we been cutting hair? About 25 years. 25 years we've been cutting hair, man. You understand? So this ain't no paint, this is real hair. 25 years cutting hair. I don't use Beijing or nothing like that. You understand? So 25 years of work. You know, just that in these days that people, they use man wigs and they use all this material, that they normalize that. So when somebody can really know how to cut hair and look at every speck and know how to cut, and you think it's paint, it's not. You don't understand. You know what I mean? One day we could have a video on that, you know? Because a lot of people's, we had the videos, I cut my hair live one time. And we was live when I was cutting my hair. So this ain't no paint at all. All right? What's up to Akani? That's how you pronounce your name? Akani, I think. What's up to Cali Boy? Shout out to you. Hope all is well. What's up to Christopher Span? Shout out to you. Hope all is well. Who else I miss? Endor says, paint the beard is crazy work. He said, painting the beard. Wow. Maybe we could have a conversation about, you know, modesty. What's it, modesty? What is it called? Men's apparel. I think Gina was talking about something like that. Maybe we could have a conversation about that. I think we did women's modesty one time. Now we got to do the men's one day for sure. But what's up to Timothy Hill? You said that Jim Jones stuff was crazy. Absolutely. I wouldn't be surprised if somebody tried to mimic that in these days or later on. You know what I mean? I think it kind of happened before. I think we did a story about that before. And I think the situation happened out there in Africa. Let me look that up. Let me see. African pastor. I think it was they fasting? Yeah, here you go. I think we did it last year. It says cult leader charged with 191 murders. Paul Mackenzie. So yes, I think it was more who was killed in Jonestown, but he was charged with 191 murders out there in Africa, and this story was last year in February. You know, so he pled not guilty, and let me see, let me read it. I'm trying to remember the story. It says a cult leader in Kenya has been charged with murders after more than 400 bodies were found buried in shallow graves in a remote forest in the east of the country. So he urged his followers to fast in order to go see Jesus. He didn't ask them to fast for a couple of days. You know what I mean? Until they died. And a lot of people, they fell for that. So 191 murders he was charged with, but they found 400 bodies. As we talked about, there's a lot of wicked so-called pastors in Africa. Anita said there was a preacher in Africa that had the people drinking his bathwater. I kind of thought of that earlier, but I also thought it was something dealing with a male's, you know, liquid parts, or whatever the case may be, if you know what I mean. All right. Not only that, the other thing, you understand? John Doe says someone did mimic Jim Jones, Waco, Texas, in the mid-90s. Wow. Andrea Hines says, thank you. You said, just for being a humble brother, you always use the preacher man, PJ teaching and not being out here preaching and teaching, making shipwreck. You says, keep up the good work. Appreciate that. Appreciate that. Jesus Fuller says, why do people still follow these false prophets when the things they prophesied over the members never came to pass? When I still remember a female pastor said I was going to become a rap star. Uh-oh, G Swole. A rap star. You know, I mean, tables turn. You know, you found holiness and things like that. I know some people still get tempted or on wanting to do certain things like rapping or singing for the world. You know, Whitney Houston, she's a prime example. She had all the talent. She was good, but she, went on to sing for the world. You know, Tony Braskin was another one. It just so happened that, people who make their transition over to holiness, they follow that journey of wanting to get with the Lord. You know, Timothy Hale says African pastor had his members eat grass like animals. I can't remember his name. I remember that one too. Wesley says the apostle always warns us use logic, especially when dealing with fasting. Use wisdom. Absolutely. I ain't gonna sit here and fast for 5 days. I can't do that. I can't do that. You understand? I can't. I'm not competing with anybody. I don't care about how long can a person fast. I respect it. I said if this person fasts for 10 days, listen, more power to you. Good for you. Maybe on that second day, I'm gonna have me a T-bone. Simple. I'm hungry. I'm gonna eat. I tried, Lord. I tried. It's rough. I need to eat. You start getting a headache and you start getting dehydrated and your blood pressure might go low and you know what I mean? Your blood sugar go down. Uh-uh. You know? But some people can do 5 days. Some people can do 10, whatever. Much respect, but ain't a competition. Fasting is between that person or you and the Lord. Miss Joyce says, I felt sorry for the children of Jonestown. They had no choice. Christopher Span says, concerning what the scriptures say and what apostle has taught us, many pastors mean well, yet they've been caught in the web of bad teaching with no Holy Ghost, been taught ancient, what's that, mysticism rather than the gospel. What's up to Happy Music? Shout out to you. Hope all is well. Indoor says Beyonce too, and now she got a whole church now. Wow. Span says on the flip side, and that's all I see. David B says, look up the YouTuber Goatus. They really hate Gino. Goatus. Let me look it up right now. Goatus. Phone out the way. Let's see. Wow. The Goatus. It said Gino Jennings finally sentenced, shocks the world, and they got Gino. Yo, this funny. That's funny. They got Gino in an orange suit like he's in court. Oh, man, that's hilarious. That is funny. It said Gino Jennings collapses in court after hearing his sentence. Oh, man. Wow. That's crazy, man. That's hilarious how they got that picture. Gino Jennings got arrested after TD Jakes files lawsuit against him. I think another YouTuber did that. They might be stealing videos from the other YouTuber who did that. Let's see. That's all I really see. Let me go to their YouTube channel a little bit more. Wow. This is crazy. But that was funny, man, how they how they got him in an orange suit. Yeah, that's all I really see. I'm gonna look at the comments right quick. I'm going to look at the comments. Oh, they got the comments turned off. I guess they knew better. I'm surprised why YouTube allow this type of garbage, man. What's wrong with them? And I know people be trying to report the videos, and YouTube still keep it up there. I don't know why YouTube allows that, but the moment we put up something with the Skittles community or something like that, man, they be quick to warn your video, quick to put your video in private, or just give you a strike or something like that. I don't understand that part. All right. He said, "Now that's hilarious." What's up, the Dennis? Wesley says, because the Holy Spirit might get a hold of you and make you fast longer. He says, or shorter. At Wesley. All right, appreciate that. Appreciate that at my life. Totally. Thank you for joining. He says, welcome to Gold Glove. Thank you for support of this YouTube channel at my life. Totally appreciate that. Indoor says, as soon as you fast, you can have a belly full of food, and soon as you anoint your head, you get hungry all of a sudden. Absolutely. Appreciate that at Happy Music. Thank you for the support of this YouTube channel. God bless you and your family. Definitely appreciate that. All right. All right. Christopher Span said there are many occultic pastors in Greek fraternities and Elks and Masons diluting the gospel and damning the souls to ensure you never get close. You never learn about who God is. He says no one is getting baptized in the name of Jesus Christ. More importantly, the individual grows in the man and not Christ. Thus, the individual thinks that false prophet is his way of salvation. Wow. Wow. It's a deep one right there. Christopher Span. Definitely appreciate that comment. As we tune into more comments, let me see if I miss anybody. What's up, the brother in holiness? Shout out to you for sure. You know, according to more of these videos on YouTube that I was instructed, there's a lot of people who have a lot of hatred. You know what I'm saying, for the message, and now I guess that's the new wave. Who wrote? Let me see who wrote that once again. I think David B. I guess that's the new wave of trying to downplay the church. They putting up videos like that. For the most part, they're trying everything, man. They're trying everything. When you got a real preacher out there, you know what I'm saying? Listen, they'll big up TD Jakes. They'll big up these so-called preachers, right? But when it comes to true men of God, they would try everything. They'll try to bring it down for the most part. You know what I mean? So what's up to TNT News? Shout out to you. Hope all is well. When you see things about holiness, or whatever the case may be, it's one of the most, if not the most, talked about in a negative manner amongst a lot of YouTubers. A lot of YouTubers at the end of the day. So if you in holiness, especially if you're under the truth of God and whatnot, you better be ready what comes with it. Because there's a lot of things that comes with being in the truth of God. You understand? If somebody is doing things on the internet, guess who they're gonna blame? The whole church. You know what I mean? You got the false prophets out there. They talking. That's why I said, listen, it's very important to make sure you and I get it that a lot of us make mistakes. I'll make mistakes. You understand? But I think there's a difference between a person trying to work on something than a person who just said, listen, I know I'm in church. I don't care. After I get outside of church, I'm going to smoke me a blunt. I think there's a difference between a person that's trying, all right, I really want to try to stop smoking, so I'm going to give an effort, versus a person who said, listen, I don't care. Go to church, I'm going to praise, I'm going to worship, I'm going to be in the choir, I'm going to be in the auxiliary, and I'm still going to smoke that blunt after. I think that's an issue right there. Happy Music says they call evil good and good evil. That's why YouTube don't mind anything about taking down those messy YouTubers. What's up to Mark Hughes? Shout out to you. David B says, as Pastor said, the devil sends more preachers because there are more people going to hell. Wow. Yeah, more people going to hell. And I think I heard that sermon too before. Wesley says, tables turn for the better. I see somebody got deleted. I believe I saw that person on here yesterday. That's crazy. You know what I mean? But I thank everybody, for coming on as we continue on this conversation about wicked pastors. I'm thankful for being out those false churches. Very, very thankful. We have learned a lot being in holiness and what to watch for. All the red flags out there. Appreciate that at Miss Joy. All the red flags out there among these so-called preachers. Anita says, keep the faith. You says, my brother, keep the, and that's all I see. I guess you mean keep the faith. Appreciate that. You know what I mean? Definitely too. You too, for sure. Keep the faith. It's not an easy journey at all. Christopher says, many pastors use color, magic, and consult, which is either into, I guess you meant their family or other organizations. Magic, witches, magic and witches. I think I seen a story like that. Let me see if I can find it on YouTube right quick. I don't know if you may have watched it at Christopher Span. I think the guy name was Darren Brown or something like that. Let me see if I can find it. All right, his name is Darren Brown. It says Darren Brown exposes the tricks of faith healers, miracles for sale. So it's this magician. He did a show about how these false prophets trick the people. Although Darren Brown is of the devil because he dabbled in magic, he wanted to show people that also a lot of pastors use the same methods that he used in the church. You know what I mean? So he had, random people to try out to become a pastor, and he, trained them up and showed them certain things to manipulate the people, whether it was hypnosis to use or certain tricks that, these so-called faith healers use. Like, if they make it seem like if a person's leg is shorter than the other one, and make it seem like it could grow based upon the stuff that they do or whatever the case may be. So I don't know if you've seen that. Darren Brown exposes the tricks of faith healers, miracles for sale. Darren Brown, pretty interesting video that I saw a long time ago. All right. Happy Music says, a great falling away. What's up, the Mercy Call? Shout out to you. He says, greetings, brother. He says, greetings, brother Tony and chat family. I'm behind. Been busy. Not a problem. Mark Hughes says, yeah, where I'm at, they hate me because God opened my eyes and by God's permission, introduced me to Pastor Gino Jennings preaching and teaching. Cool. Definitely appreciate that for sure. At Mark Hughes. And a lot of these preachers, so-called preachers, excuse me, are that way. Not only on the outside where we're from or where we're at, but also over the internet. We definitely are targets. I mean, me personally, I don't pay these folks no mind. G Swole says, has a pastor ever told you you're going to be a boxer? No. No way. When I was about 22, probably, I went up to the altar at one church and this so-called pastor said, you're called to the nation to be a prophet. I said, yeah, whatever. You know what I mean? I said, yeah, whatever, within myself. As far as like boxing, nah. No preacher has ever said that at all, So they said something about being a prophet. Two so-called preachers said that I'm called to be a prophet. And nah, I don't see that. No way. You know what I mean? I didn't fall for the okie doke even before the truth of God. There's some things that you just know, for the most part. You know what I mean? The boxing thing came like way before I started really going back to church. You know what I mean? It's just something that, I love, I would love to do. All right. Span says, or you will be part of a ritual inside of the church and spiritually be initiated in a dream. To be a part of their cult, they call it the circle. Mm. Mark Hughes says, yeah, I seen them attacking you on here. I don't mind. It's pretty funny. It's pretty funny that you got grown men. Listen, they grown men talking about me almost every day for 5 hours. Wow, that's crazy. I didn't think I was that important to them. I didn't think I was that important. They're attacking people in the chat room too. Some of those videos, I saw some brothers and sisters, and I'm like, wow. You know what I mean? That's crazy. All right. What's up, the Drago? Shout out to you. Hope all is well. Definitely appreciate that at Drago. So when we are in holiness, a lot of people know that we are in a lot of us follow the truth of God. So they're gonna come. You got to be ready for that. Span says many pastors use certain gestures and mannerisms to cast spells on the congregation, mimicking so-called ancient gods, casting spells, hexes, love potions, and whatnot on the people. You know what I mean? Dangerous, and people think it's godly. Man, you got to be very careful, even to the ones that's so-called laying their hands on you. I remember this was about 2012, and I think I had went to this church in Harlem, New York. Leo Starworth, he was on the radio station 1190 when I was listening to it. I said, let me go check this guy out. Let me see if he's authentic. They start talking crazy on it on the radio about healings and blessings and stuff like that. So I went to his church, Healing from Heaven Temple in Harlem, New York. You understand? The man was arrogant. They had a woman preacher there. You know what I mean? Try to lay her hands on me, push me down. Wow. You know what I mean? Listen, what a sight. But I was there on assignment. You know what I mean? I could have acted out. We could have DDT'd her. Could have DDT'd her or whatever. Because that felt like semi-assault. The way they be pushing people down and things like that. I said, nah, this ain't it right here. This is not it right here. I don't know how these people come to this church every week with foolishness like this. And this is before the truth of God. You know what I mean? What's up to Corinna Faithful? Shout out to you. Hope all is well. What's up to Art of War? Shout out to you. Hope all is well. Jesus Christ, who I fear, shout out to you. Span says, many pastors use game like a pimp does. You says, philosophy and theology putting the people to sleep with flashy usage of wordplay. T. Scrogan says, waving their coat jacket and blowing on people. Span's laughing at DDT. He said, Dudley, get the tables. All that. One shouldn't come to church and feel like they have been assaulted. You know what I mean? I shouldn't feel like that, especially being a first timer to that church. I had to walk out that church. You know what I mean? We was in there for about 4 or 5 hours. I said, man, this is like terrible. I just walked out at one point. I'm saying, when is this thing gonna end? You know what I mean? 1 minute they're asking for $1,000, the next minute $500, $100, $50. When is it gonna end? So guess what? I just walked out. I don't have time for that. Mark Hughes says, I had false preachers call me and threaten me over the phone because I believe holiness, not their lies. Wow, a threat. That's crazy. A. Wooten says, if I call a pastor out and tell him he's teaching people wrong and he's wrong for claiming, for claiming he has a gospel, you put question mark. All right. Jesus says, I felt I made a pastor mad when I didn't fall out when he was praying over me. That made him avoid from praying over me. Wow. Listen, I don't see the point of trying to push somebody down when you lay hands on them. All you got to do is just simply just put your hands on them, right? You don't got to smack their foreheads and try to push them down. You understand? Listen, no way. Nah, me in these days, if that was to happen, I don't know what I would do. You understand? I don't know. I'm being honest. I don't know. You know what I mean? If a so-called preacher just come up to me out on the outside and you get too close, you know? You get too close, you know? We're going to leave it right there. David B says, I just watched a video of a guy criticizing Paula White for begging for money again. Well, these folks got money and they still begging. These folks be millionaires, and they still begging. Still begging for money. You know? Folks be like Robert Tilton. You know, pretty sure some people heard about Robert Tilton. You know what I mean? Robert Tilton was funny.
Now I'm going to pray in tongues for a moment. Somaka sidi dalamoko.
Oh man.
Mandikishiti kolora bashata.
What?
Manda kalaboho masiki lomokora masa. Kadita na namosoya lama. Kamba sokoya.
Where did he learn that from? You know what I mean? This is crazy.
For I would say unto you this day, there's 3 people watching me right now. Maybe just one person, could be several, depending on when this is being played or aired. I don't know. But even if it's not live, God knows who to put in front of this broadcast. So he creates the fruit of the lips. There's also a person watching with this stomach problem. You need to quickly call. There's also a person going down in there. Hallelujah. If you will call, I want to hold your name and prayer request in my hand. Bound by crack, bound by alcohol.
Wow. If you want to get a laugh, just type in Robert Tilton. You know? I think, was Kenneth Copeland laughing in tongues? I think he was, right? Let me see. Well, call himself laughing in tongues, I think. That means for declaring Joe Biden. All right. It was one of those videos I was looking at. Was it this one right here? Ah, man, a commercial. Wow. Get that up out of here.
Come, God.
Let me see.
And
Fast forward.
go still
Oh, man, it's terrible.
Yando zdog sisi isto sinmahante. Tevrema is sigama. Tevrema on po breve di isto sinmahante ke.
What?
En und yando zdog sisi kukla namen breme esto.
Kenneth Copeland.
Stilogla Hamalana, Lelo Lendine, Engren in Stilest Karatak. Katarak, Selich, Nechni, Gelidelo.
Nah, I look like somebody tampering with the video now, man. But that's crazy, man. Wow. That is crazy. You know, I think it's the cursing pastor. We're gonna see. I think he cursing pastor. Let me see. Who is this guy? Where he at? Let me check him out right quick.
How you a pastor in cursing? Be aware of prophets. We are definitely living in our last days. Well, bitch, let me tell you something. You must be a bitch. Like
This is so-called Pastor Thaddeus Matthew.
sure. Yes, I cuss. I'm the cussing pastor, while your motherfucking pastor ain't doing a goddamn.
Oh man, this is supposed to be a pastor? Wow. That's supposed to be a pastor. Wow. It sounds more so like a Hebrew Israelite.
Thing. I'm the cussing pastor that used my platform to raise $6,000 for this mother who was going through a plight, while these other ignorant ass, non-functioning ass pastors wasn't doing a motherfucking
thing. Oh man, this is hilarious. Oh man, Thaddeus Matthews. A. Wooten says, was I wrong for calling him out because I am a woman? A. Wooten, let me see your question again. Okay. You asked him, was you wrong? You says, if I call a false prophet out and tell him he's teaching people wrong and he's wrong for claiming he has a gospel. And you said, if I can scroll down to it, this thing is kind of acting up a bit. I'm trying to go back to your question, but please forgive me. Basically, you asked, was you wrong for saying that? I mean, you I don't think you're wrong. You understand that if somebody's teaching or preaching something wrong, and you let them know, hey, it is what it is. I don't see you wrong with that. It's your soul that these folks are dealing with. So you want to make sure, as a human being, you being fed the right things for your soul to get right with the Lord. Tanya Barnes says, I remember a friend of mine doing the church in church, and I told the girl to get off the floor. Oh, doing the do. Wow. In church? That's crazy. G. Swole says, but what about the people that claim they felt something to fall out when a pastor was praying over them? When my little brother claimed he felt something to make him fall out, well, a lot of that stuff is demonic. They use tricks, they use magic, they use witchcraft. You understand? Listen, it's very, very dangerous. Very. A person could feel something dealing with witchcraft. You know what I mean? But I'd say it's very, very dangerous. For sure. At G Swole. Let's see where we at. Corinda says, wow, no fear of God, because what was that? TNT says, if God put you on the floor, let God get you back up. Wonderful. What's up to Aries? Shout out to you. Hope all is well. Let me see where we at. David B says, new believers are being taken advantage of by these pimps. That's one of the reasons why they are still thriving. Others are just foolish. Corinda says, Kenneth Copeland is low-key scary. I can't look at him. What's up to Loretta Booker? Robert Steen Jones, shout out to you. Hope all is well. George Halverson says, can I get advice on my diet? I don't know what you're eating. You know? I don't know what you're eating. You said, what is the difference between witchcraft and wizardry? Nothing. You know what I mean? Nothing at all. All that stuff falls into the same category. What's up to Dawn Berlin? Shout out to you. Hope all is well. What's up to Maddie? Shout out to you. Hope all is well. Thank you for joining this conversation. For the most part, you know. Who else we can go to? What other wicked preachers are out there that we can go to? You know, we did Kenneth Copeland. We did Robert Tilton. It's a lot more wicked preachers out there, you know, that we can go to. Somebody got removed, right? I see that comment. Appreciate that, you know, for removing that person. He says Paul White, fake tongue. Paul White? Paul White or Paula White? Let me know. Let's see. Type that in. Paula White speaking in tongues.
Mahanda akasata, reke yamanda raboko sokota, ronda yakande eke seke la mama manda rabakase.
Wow, this is terrible. That's terrible right there. What's up to Jason Jackson? Shout out to you. Hope all is well. Appreciate you for coming on here. You know what I mean? Let me see what is this. Sarah Brown said, what was that cursing pastor's first and last name again, please? His name was like Thaddeus or something. Thaddeus Matthews. Thaddeus Matthews, known as the cursing pastor, was an American pastor and broadcaster who gained notoriety for using profanity in his preaching and radio show. And he recently passed away on February 24th, 2025. So he passed away. He was from Memphis, Tennessee. In 2016, he was accused by a woman of harassing her, to which he responded by saying she is lying. The same year, he was arrested for harassment after he posted nude photos of himself to a blog. Wow, that's crazy. So he died from congestive heart failure on February 24th, 2025 at the age of 67. Congestive heart failure. Wow. That's terrible that he was that way. Corinda says Mike Todd, I think is his name. Mike Todd. Oh yeah, he's another one. He's another one. Mike Todd. Horrible. Horrible. Wasn't he the one that, put saliva or whatever the case may be, spit on somebody's face. I don't care if the fellow was a family member. I don't care if it was his blood brother. You put saliva on another person's face, and the person is just as stupid for allowing him to do that. Why would you allow a person, doesn't matter who it is, for them to put saliva on your face? That's just crazy. You know? Crazy. And wasn't he the so-called pastor that was getting a haircut while preaching? Man, getting a haircut while preaching. What an idiot. What an idiot. That's total disrespect right there. What's next? You gonna be playing PlayStation and preaching the word? What's next? I wouldn't be surprised. What's next? What's next for this fella? You know? All right? David B says, now he's in a Christless grave, headed to hell. You're referring to Thaddeus Matthews. Absolutely. T. Schroden says, ew. Christopher Span says, don't give these false prophets any ideas. Oh, man. They going to the extreme, man. They is going to the extreme. I wouldn't be surprised if Elon Musk have a robot up there preaching. You know what I mean? I wouldn't be surprised. You know, Elon Musk seem to be about robots. Drago says, you see that pastor's wife kicked the Bible in service? No, I didn't. Let me look it up. Let me see. Let me look it up right quick. Okay, I see it now. A year ago. Well, it says, woman pastor kicks Bible like a football in church. From a YouTuber named I Think Biblically. So he's talking. Wow. So they in church. They got football jerseys on. They got the Chiefs on. They kicking the Bible like it's a field goal or something like that. That's crazy. What's next? A boxing ring? Huh? They playing football in the church with the Bible. Not a regular football, but with the Bible. It's my first time watching that one, man. That's crazy, man. That's crazy. Corinna says, there's the pastor that had pledged into a fraternity, Bishop Murray or Murphy. A lot of them so-called preachers are in fraternities. A lot of them. A lot of them are. You know, some of them, they are in fraternities from college. They stay in those fraternities. You know, Mu Gamma. You know, the Thetas. You know, they in that type of stuff. You know, Mu Gamma. And they stay in it. You know, they become a Mason or stay a Mason. Or a female goes into the Eastern Stars or a sorority group. You know? Corinna says, not to stomp the yard, pastors. Stomp the yard. I know a lot of people think that's a good movie. They watch it. A lot of y'all, we probably still watch it. You know, watching that stuff. Christopher Span says, Delta's where you hitting. Andrea Hines says, how disrespectful. SMH. What's up, the B? Holy shout out to you. Hope all is well. Marlo wrote 2 Timothy 4:3. Appreciate that. Corinna says, I don't see how anyone can listen to Mike Todd. He does way too much. That saliva thing was gross, for sure. And I'm pretty sure there's probably was other so-called preachers who wanted to try that. Who wanted to try that nasty stuff. You know what I mean? Yeah, they people, folks in the had twerking in the church, kicking Bibles in the church. What about, what's that other cat name from Detroit? The father of that comedian. What's that cat name? He played in Lottery Ticket. He was Bow Wow's friend in Lottery Ticket. His father is a preacher, a so-called preacher from Detroit. What's that man's name? I forgot his name. Let me look it up right now. I gotta look up the last name to that actor. Brandon something, right? Let me see. See if we can find it right quick. Unless some of y'all got the name. Brandon Jackson. That's the actor. So I think it's the so-called preacher is Wayne T. Jackson. Wayne T. Jackson, he had a viral video a long time ago. Wayne T. Jackson, whereas though I guess he was promoting somebody, and their ritual was for the other so-called minister to lay down. And I might do a reaction video on that. If I could find the video, because when I did it a long time ago, I just put the video out. I didn't do a reaction to it, but they got it removed. You know what I'm saying? YouTube now allows more so of reaction over it than just putting the video out. So we might bring it back. So he laid on top of a man and start, on him, and they called it a ritual. You know what I mean? So I don't know if y'all remember that. All right. Let me see where we at. Mercy Carr says, very stupid playing kicking the Bible. Draw back a nub. If God cut their foot off while kicking the Bible, then everyone will take off running out of the so-called church. Yep. You're right about that. All right, we got a couple more minutes. And then we could knock off. Feel free to leave your closing remarks, your comments, in the chat room. And Lord willing, we'll be back, with another live. Hopefully tomorrow, tonight. We'll see what happens. But overall, you know how we're doing on Sundays. We have our recap videos and things like that. Oh, yeah, Gino's going to be out. I believe he's having surgery or something like that. So we'll see what we can do. Just in general, Dan the Man is, he stated that was preaching. I know some people are going to ask, what happened to Gino? Where he at? Well, he let the people know that he had a procedure that he was going to go through. Span says, mayo on a hot dog is nasty. He said, pause. Appreciate that as Sandra Brown. Shout out to you. Appreciate that. So I hope everybody have a wonderful Saturday. It's a beautiful day today. In general, Drago says, God bless. And everyone, Tony, everyone in the chat, thanks for sharing time here with Bro Tony. For sure. Appreciate that. You know, shout out to all the new subscribers, all the new people who's coming to the channel. Definitely appreciate it. You know what I mean? We got more videos, more lives and stuff like that, more ideas to this channel. I got some more ideas for this channel for surety. You know what I mean? In the coming days, in the coming weeks, in the coming months. Corinna says, pray for us in Florida. We got bad weather on the way. He says, peace be. For sure. We'll do on the prayers and hope you stay safe and everybody out there that's experiencing bad weather. You know what I mean? I'm Tony Harvin of the Tony Harvin Network YouTube channel, signing off. May you all have a wonderful and blessed day, night. I'm out. Peace.